Hey there to all you rebellious souls out there. It is great to have you here. I'm truly excited to inspire you again today, and I hope that this podcast episode will ignite a new fire within you. So enjoy, and you know what? Feel free to reach out if I can support you in any way. Have a good one. From humdrum habits to badass branding. Last night I was laying in my bed, and for some reason sometimes the content just comes to me. And I started thinking about how we're constantly branding ourselves. And we might not even realize it. Like everyone outside in this world, we're constantly expressing ourselves. We're constantly showing ourselves in this world, whether we are in the supermarket or we're on vacation or we're really doing our business and doing our marketing. We're showing up in this world, unless you're some kind of hermit. And that means that people see us. They see us, they perceive us, they are getting some kind of experience with us. So without realizing it, we're constantly building our personal brand. It's happening right now, even when you don't realize it. It is in the way that you behave, it is in the way that you move, it is in the way that you speak, it is in the way that you dress, it is in the way that you do your hair and makeup, it is even in the way that you don't do all of these things. You see, personal branding is not just about who you are. There is an exchange with the world happening. There is an expression from you that starts on the inside because, you know, the word expression comes from the Latin word expressare, and ex means out, and to press out. Pressare means press. So you're literally pushing something out. Now you can only push something out if it's on the inside, right? So there is an expression from you on the inside, and then there is a perception of that expression on the outside. So far in your life, people have been reacting to you. They've been responding to you. They've just been interacting with you, and that has given you a certain feedback, a certain result. It has created a circle of friends around you. It has led to a certain client base. It has created some line of success for yourself, all right? You can name it, whatever it is, you express, and people react. And by now, chances are that this feels really, really comfortable for you. It feels safe. I mean, you're doing what you've always done. You know your place. You know what happens. This is great. The problem is, though, that many of the choices that you've made up to now are usually based on some kind of unconscious habit. So you've learned over the years to do things really quickly. You know, that's how our brain works. Our brain wants to create habits because that's how it saves time and it saves energy. And that's one of the key things that your brain wants. It wants to save energy, and it wants to automate things like on an autopilot so that the energy that we actually need can go to our bodies and our vital systems and all of that, you know, and to get food, for example. So the brain wants to automate things so that it will not be spending so much energy. And that means that, you know, we are creatures of habit. That's just a fact. 95% of all the things that we do during the day, we do that unconsciously. The problem is that this often leads to decisions and choices about ourselves that are just habit. And they're not always conscious, empowered choices. Often, without us realizing it, these choices are externally motivated because, you know, we want to belong and we want to fit in. And that's great. And that's very human that we have that need. I mean, we need tribe. We need people around us. So obviously, yeah, we want to, we fear standing out too much. That's a little bit of an issue when you consciously want to build your personal brand and become some badass branding bitch, regardless of gender, obviously. So that's when that becomes a problem because, when we're trying to fit in instead of really stand out and attract the right people, then we're basically getting lost in the sea of sameness. Now, I love that expression because a couple of years ago I did this public speaking training, and that was one of the phrases that they kept using, getting lost in the sea of sameness. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to get lost in the sea of sameness. I have something to do. I want to stand out. And I realized that the more we try to belong and fit in, the more we block our sovereignty. Now, this is what I believe sovereignty, or autonomy is a different word for that, is the number one skill that you need if you want to build your personal brand. Because a brand in itself sets itself apart. That's what brands do. They differentiate. They don't want to be like anyone else. They want to be unique and exclusive, and not exclusive as in exclude specific people, but on the other hand, yeah, they actually do. They want to exclude the people that they don't resonate with. And what brands do is they want to really embrace that sense of autonomy. Like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. And a personal brand is no different. You as an individual, your personal brand, who you are, is unique. And it isn't until we own that autonomy, that sovereignty within ourselves, that we can actually live up to that uniqueness. So what we want to make sure is that these habits that we've developed over the years is that they at some point stop keeping us in a rut, because that's often what happens. They keep us stuck in a rut. The problem is that if we want something different, for example, we want to start a new business, or we want to attract new clients, or we want to up level in our professional career, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, that doesn't matter. You want to simply attract different jobs or different kind of employers, or you want to express yourself in a completely new way because you feel like, hey, there's parts of me that want to be expressed, but I feel insecure about that. Or if you want to make more money, or if you really want to fulfill your potential, then if that's what you desire, then you cannot just keep doing what you've always done. You cannot keep the humdrum habits flowing, because it's going to give you the same results that you've always had, and that's going to keep you from really living your life in the way that you want to, and really creating the business the way that you want to, and attracting the clients that you desire to work with, because you can help them. You feel that, there is this message inside of you, and that there's this talent and skill set that you've developed over many, many years of experience, and you know that you can serve the world. Now, if that's what you want, you gotta change it up. And that's fucking scary, because it means letting go of that safe zone and leveling up. And how do we do that? Now, that always starts on the inside, if you ask me. Just putting on a new dress, or, coming up with a new color scheme for your website, that's not gonna cut it. Because how do you know if that aligns with what you want to express? You gotta start on the inside. So, and please know that just thinking about a new value system, that's not enough either. So you want to make sure that your values realign with who you want to be. So it's not just about who you are, but it's about who you choose to be. You start with the end in mind. And then you also need to know that these values, they're here for a reason. So if you want your values to become your guiders, like your your guides into how you experience life and how you want to be seen also, then that means that it's going to have an effect on how you behave. You know, you want to live your values, not just have certain values, but, you know, these values are going to impact how you behave. So the question is always, what choices will you make for your life? One of my core values is that I really long for love and connection. That is just, like in everything that I do, I want to feel connected to myself. I want to feel connected to my clients. I want to feel connected to the people around me. So and that means that I will make certain choices that sometimes may not always feel comfortable, because I also love being by myself. And I love being a hermit, but that means that sometimes I can't, you know, if I don't see enough people, I will wither away a little bit. So I know that, you know, I got to make an effort. And I make a choice about the people that I want to connect with. And it means sometimes saying no to people that I'm like, yeah, of course, I love these people. They're amazing. But I want to focus on my inner circle, for example. So, and really deepen that connection. So that those are the choices that I make for my life. I also have those values for my business, for example. So the values that I set for my personal life are somewhat different to the core values in my business, because it's a different part of me. It all comes from me, but it's a different part. So in my business, I really value development. And that means that because the business that I'm in the business of educating people, of guiding people. So it would be really weird if I didn't value development, growth and development in my business, if that wouldn't be part of my core value. I mean, I gotta prove that while I guide people into developing themselves, that I'm also taking care of my own growth, right? So the choices that I make is that I will always, every year, invest in myself. Those are very tangible choices based on my values, is that I will make sure that I invest a certain amount of money to grow myself in whatever direction that is. So for example, this year I am investing in myself, in my inner witch. I love, for many years I've been making my own beauty products, and I decided, you know what, I want to learn more about plants and herbs. So I'm training to become a herbalist, and I'm very early on, but you know, I made that choice to invest in myself. And because that, from a very different perspective, it has nothing to do with personal branding, but still the way of thinking that I'm learning in that course is something that I incorporate in my own business. So values, yes, align your values with the future you know, how you want to be able to talk about yourself, how you want others to be able to talk about you, you know, and based on those values and on what you want to experience, you will make choices in life and in your business. That's how you start living your values and really doing that from the inside out. And it also means when you start on the inside, I'm not just talking values, I'm also talking your personal skills, you know, uncovering what you are really good at and fully owning that with all the self-doubt that may pop up simultaneously. Because, you know, even though I would wish for all of us to be super self-confident the whole time, our human experience simply includes the moments when we don't really feel it, when we feel low and when we feel that self-doubt. That is part of it. So instead of rejecting that, let's just embrace that. So, and still standing for what we're really good at. Because, you know, by standing for that and repeating that to ourselves and building ourselves up, you can trust that at some point you will start believing it and living it. So it starts on the inside, as I just said, with your values, your talents, your skills, and there's so much more to say about this. There's so many more elements, but I'm just going to keep it at these two for now. Then it's time to slowly go outward. And what I'm talking about here is your expression. So going outward means that, whatever is on the inside, all these gifts, you're going to push them outwards. You're going to express yourself. And that is something that people can perceive. People cannot see what's going on inside, but they can perceive it in the way that you behave or in the way that you show up in this world. They can see it or perceive it, because perception is so much more than just sight. They can perceive that in the energy that you radiate. And, it's how you speak up for yourself from now on. It's also how you express yourself visually. So think about posture. Think about your clothing, your hairdo, and everything that becomes tangible for people with, your moves, your posture, your hand gestures, the way that you use your voice, the way that you dress. It all becomes proof of that inner work and therefore becomes a part of your personal brand. So this has everything to do with expression. Anything that we put out there is expression. Your own business is an expression of you. The way that you relate to others is an expression of you. The way that you dress is an expression of you. Anything that comes from the inside. The way that you speak, the way that you move, everything is an expression of you. You might even choose maybe to shave your head and grow a massive beard and wear purple stilettos at the same time. If that's something that you'd want, if you have a male body, for example. Or you might choose, if you're, for example, in a female body, or whatever body you have, that is not just male, female. There's so many more genders. And it doesn't really matter, but you could choose, like I did years ago, to drop all the makeup instead, stop dyeing my hair, stop cutting my whole hair altogether, and show up as naked and as real as you can. And that would, as long as it's an empowered personal choice. And that is something that I did. The thing is here, the golden nugget that I would like to give you here is that any choice that you make and how you express yourself becomes an empowered choice. So not just a humdrum habit. That you're not doing that because you've always done it that way, because that's what you believe is you. You see, the idea that we are who we are, I believe, is just flawed. I think it's false. I think we don't just have to accept that we are who we are and we've always done something in a certain way, because that would mean that we cannot change our destiny, or that we have to accept that we were born in a certain environment. And we've seen many, many times that this is not how it's necessarily been, because, that would leave us in a victim place. We're not victims. I believe that we're not victims. I believe that we can really empower ourselves and make certain choices consciously because it matches with who we are. So the question is to you, what would serve you even more? What choices haven't you made so far that have been these deep longing desires? For example, maybe you've always dreamt of dyeing your hair a certain color, or you've always dreamt of wearing certain outfits. Something that is just very eccentric, maybe less accepted in society. What is it that you've always loved to do? Maybe you've always wanted to do a pole dancing class. So go do it and express yourself in that way. Who says that you can't? And stop worrying about the opinion of others, about external validation, and choose how you want to show up, choose how you want to express yourself, and make it an empowered choice, not this automatic pilot humdrum habit. Now, I've talked a little bit about how your personal brand starts on the inside, preferably consciously, really consciously making choices. I've talked about how you can then go outward, how whatever you decide on the inside, all the inner work can be expressed in so many different ways. And then there is something very, very important in personal branding, and that is how you speak up. This is your message. I personally really believe that your message is the key element in your personal brand. I mean, yeah, sure, people love looking at something on the outside. They love it when you have this perfect Instagram feed. They love it when you wear certain colors. It's recognizable, and it's easy to remember because, we're very much relying on our eyesight in this society. And I fully get it. I get how, for some reason, over the years, personal branding has become so much a visible thing, a visual thing. Everyone always asks me, so are you like a graphic designer? No, I focus on the message. I focus on the contents. I focus on what you have to say, because that is, in my personal opinion, how you leave a legacy. That perfect picture of that beautiful body, that is not going to cut it. I still come across profiles of influencers that they look amazing. They're beautiful. They have that perfect body, whatever that means. And then there's like zero messaging underneath. It's only like, yeah, go check my link in my bio and then buy something or whatever. But it's your message that's going to make a difference. It's your message that can really move people. It can go right to their hearts. And the importance is that you learn to uncover this message. And the beautiful thing is that with the inner work around values, around your vision, around your mission, that's all inner work. That is already the beginning of that process. So what I take people through, for example, in my method, in the work that I do, it is always the same journeys, the same step-by-step plan, is that we start working on the message actually from the very first day. We uncover all those layers so that in the final step, you can really consciously use all these ingredients that we've built up and then craft that message bit by bit, core beliefs and knowing how they're different from others because you do want to stand out, and then learning how to voice those messages in words in a way that actually goes straight to people's hearts, because there are certain techniques around that. It's not just about just doing something, about just sharing your message. There is ways in which you can deepen that message, in which you can really deepen their impact. And when you accompany that with your behavior, with how you behave, how you live your message, and how you make choices to align it all, oh my God, the power, that is what it means to embody what you stand for. That, it's not just your words, it is your actions. It is you proving that you stand for it. It is you embodying your beliefs and your message throughout. Such a beautiful process to go through that and to learn how to do that. Now, this is obviously a process. This doesn't happen overnight. And this is one of the reasons why I take people through a journey within their personal brand. It is not something that we can just do overnight. It is not just building on the habits that you have had so far, that you've built so far. No, it's about, realigning what's on the inside and then becoming that truly badass personal brand that leaves a legacy. This is why personal branding, if you ask me, and I know that it sounds like this word, like personal branding, but what does it really give me? Well, what it gives you is a tremendous leadership, a feeling of leading your life, like self-leadership. And because you're leading yourself, like with a capital L, you're making choices for yourself consciously. That is how you become a magnet and how you start attracting the right people, because you're really living it. You're embodying it. And people will see that. And some people will not like it. I can tell you that. If you have this massive beard and wear purple stilettos, not everyone will be attracted to that. And that's okay. Because badass branding means that you're not there to people please. You're not there to, drown in that sea of sameness. You're there to live your authentic self. And it might not be purple stilettos. It might not be a big beard. It might not be without makeup like I do. I'm not telling you how to do this. There is no rules here, basically. There's just empowered choices based on what is true for you on the inside. And aligning that with your purpose. Now, that process, honestly, it is something that I'm always very grateful for, to guide people through that. So if there's anything that I can support you with or help you with, then please reach out. I would absolutely be honored to support you. And you can do that in many different ways. You can check my app. You can check my website and send me a message. Or Instagram. Definitely check out my Instagram. I'd love to see you there at Michelle Coops, actually. So Coops, it's my last name. Check it out and send me a DM. Maybe if you have some questions around this, I'd be very happy to dedicate a post or maybe another podcast to this. So for now, I'm going to leave you with this following thought. And that is that you absolutely 100% deserve to take your place, to claim that place, to really own that place of sovereignty within yourself, so that you can express every part of you that wants to be expressed, and thereby attract the right people, the clients that belong to you. You deserve it. Bye for now and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you're hungry for more, please check out my Brand Rebel app in the App or Play Store. It's very easy. Just type in Brand Rebel and you'll find it. It's free and it's fun. For now, have a magical day. Stay raw, stay real, stay rebelicious.